Graphing a line using slope-intercept form is the most popular method of graphing a line. Once you've learned all of them, this seems to be the one that everybody likes to use after, as you move on. So slope-intercept form is something we've seen before, but we've never talked about it quite yet. Y equals mx plus b is your slope-intercept form. Why is it called slope-intercept form? Because m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. All right, and what is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, y-intercept, and we've talked about the x-intercept and the y-intercept and sloping or graphing with the intercept, so this should be a familiar term here, y-intercept. When we graph using slope-intercept form, you want to start from the back end and work forward. So number one, you're going to plot the y-intercept. And remember, that's going to be on the y-axis. And once you've plotted the y-intercept, then graph the slope from that point. So you are truly working backwards, using this information first, and then the slope comes second. So if we want to graph using slope-intercept form, and we look at example 1. 1 is our y-intercept. So on the y-axis, this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, we go up to positive 1, and we plot that point. Now here's my slope, negative 1/2. It doesn't matter where you put the negative, but I generally like to use the negative with the top number. Remember, you can put the negative with the bottom number if you want, but you can't put the negative with both. So I always use the negative with the top number so I don't forget to use it. So if we do floors over doors, that means we need to go down 1 flight, and then 2's our denominator, it's positive 2, so we go to the right 2. Now you can do your slope multiple times, so you can go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, and you can do the opposite too. So you can go up 1 and back 2, up 1 and back 2, up 1 and back 2. And the more points you plot, of course, the straighter your line will be, although that one wasn't so good. Okay, so that's graphing using slope-intercept form. Plot the y-intercept first, and then from there, you're going to do your slope. Okay, let's look at number 2. Y equals 4x minus 5. So we start at the back end. Negative 5 is our y-intercept. So we go on the y-axis and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down because it's negative. Our slope is 4. We need to write that as a fraction if it's not already a fraction. So that's 4 over 1. So that means we're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 is positive, so we're going to the right 1. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. Make your lines go to the end of the graph. No squatty little lines. Try number 3 all by yourself. So for number 3, our y-intercept is negative 3, so we go down 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis. The slope is 1/4, so our floors is 1, go up 1 flight, or 1 floor. And our doors will be 4, positive 4. So we go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do the opposite, down 1 and back 4 to get that line a little straighter. What's up with number 4? What are we missing? We have a slope. It might be better if it's written like this. We're missing a y-intercept. Now if there's nothing there, what should we have? That's right, we want 0. So this is going through the origin, or through 0. So we start at 0, and our slope is negative 3/5. So we go down 3 floors, 1, 2, 3, and we go to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it is okay to just do 2 points if you like. Just be careful how straight your line is. Okay. So when it's in slope-intercept form, it's pretty easy to graph. You may have to put it in slope-intercept form on your own though. So if you look at 5, 5 is in standard form, and we need to convert it to slope-intercept form by solving for y. So what are we going to do to get y alone? Remember, we undo addition and subtraction first, so we're going to move this whole guy over by subtracting it. But be very careful here because we're still left with a negative 3y. Don't forget that negative. Bring the x down first and the 6 down second. Here is where it's really important that the x comes first because that is slope-intercept form. The x always comes down first for your slope-intercept form. So before I said this is what I'd suggest you do, but you didn't have to. But at this point on, you need to get the x down first. We need to also get rid of this negative 3, so we divide every single piece by negative 3. And we get y equals a negative divided by a negative makes this positive 5/3 x plus 6 over negative 3. So since this is going to give us negative 2, we can just write minus 2. You don't need a plus negative 2 in there. And then we can go ahead and graph this. So our y-intercept is negative 2. On the y-axis, we go down 2. And 5 over 3, floors over doors, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the right, 3. 1, 2, 3. Why don't you try 6, 7, and 8 on your own? They shouldn't be too challenging for you. Should be pretty easy. So please press pause here, solve each of these equations for y, and graph them. All right, now that you've tried them all, let's see how you did. We want to get y alone, so we're going to move this 2x over by subtracting 2x. Negative y equals, bring the x down first, negative 2x minus 3. Now, don't forget that negative sign, and now we have to get rid of it. So we divide everything by negative 1. Y equals negative divided by negative makes that positive, so we get 2x. Negative divided by negative makes that positive, so we get 3. So we start from the back end. 3 is our y-intercept. We start at positive 3. Now our slope is a whole number, so just throw that back over 1. Up 2 floors over 1 door, or down 2 floors and back 1 door. What about 7 and 8? How did you do on 7 and 8? So 7, we just need to get y alone, so we divide everything by negative 2. And we get y equals negative 3x. Negative divided by negative makes that positive 2. Start from the back end. We go up 2 on the y-axis, then make this into a fraction, so we put it over 1. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. And number 8, we're trying to get y alone, so we take this entire term and we move it over. It's a positive 4x, so we subtract 4x. Watch this sign. Negative 3y equals negative 4x plus 3. Divide everything by a negative 3. And we get y equals, do not change this to a mixed number, but a negative divided by negative makes this positive 4/3 x. And 3 divided by negative 3 gives us negative 1. Go backwards. So our y-intercept is negative 1. 4/3 is our slope. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3. If you have any questions, certainly go back and rewind and watch it again. No problem.